Amara sat quietly at the long dining table, her hands resting on her lap as her family laughed and clinked glasses. The celebration was for her sister, Chica, the golden daughter, who had just gotten engaged to a wealthy businessman. The room was full of joy, but Amara felt invisible, as if she didn't belong there at all. Her mother, Mrs. Okafor, stood up with her wine glass raised high. "To Chica," she said proudly, smiling wide. "The blessing of this family. You have made us all proud." Everyone cheered and nodded, their faces glowing with admiration. Then her mother turned, her voice still loud enough for everyone to hear. "Amara," she said, "you should learn from your sister. She's what a good daughter looks like." Laughter spread around the table, polite, uncomfortable laughter. Amara's heart pounded in her chest. Her smile froze as she looked down at her plate, pretending not to hear. But her father added, with a chuckle that cut deep, "Your sister deserves more than you, Amara. That's just how life is." The words hit her harder than she expected. She had always known her parents favored Chica, but hearing it out loud, in front of everyone, felt like being stabbed where she was already bleeding. Amara stood up slowly, her chair scraping against the floor. "Excuse me," she whispered, forcing a small smile. No one stopped her. No one even looked her way. She walked out of the room, the sound of laughter and clinking glasses fading behind her. Outside, the night air was cool against her face. She leaned against the wall, her eyes burning. She wanted to cry, but no tears came. She had cried too many times before. When Chica got new clothes while she wore old ones. When her parents forgot her birthday. When her efforts were never enough. But something felt different tonight. As she looked up at the stars, her pain slowly turned into something else, something sharper. A quiet voice inside her whispered, "Enough." For the first time, Amara didn't feel small. She didn't feel weak. The humiliation still burned, but underneath it, a new strength began to grow, steady and calm. She knew that one day, she would not be sitting quietly while others spoke down to her. One day, they would have to look at her, really look at her, and see what they had ignored for so long. Amara took a deep breath and straightened her shoulders. Inside, the celebration went on without her, full of cheers and praise for her sister. But Amara had already left that world behind. Her eyes, once full of hurt, now carried something different, resolve. It was the moment her story began to change. Amara narrates how, from childhood, she was always second best. She remembers growing up in a house where love was not shared equally. Her sister, Chica, was the bright star, the one everyone praised, the one who got the new clothes, the attention, and the best of everything. Amara, on the other hand, was told to be quiet, to be grateful, and to be content with what you have. She remembers one Christmas when Chica got a new bicycle while she received a pair of shoes 2 sizes too big. Her mother had said, "You don't need more, Amara. Your sister deserves it. She works harder." Even as a child, Amara never understood what she had done wrong. She studied hard, helped around the house, and always tried to please her parents. But somehow, it was never enough. Now, as an adult, not much has changed. Amara works long hours as a junior accountant in a small firm. Her pay is just enough to cover rent and basic needs. Every month feels like a struggle, but she keeps going because she believes things will one day get better. In contrast, Chica's life shines online. Every day, she posts pictures of fancy restaurants, designer bags, and weekend trips. Her engagement to a wealthy businessman has made her even more admired. Their parents are proud, and they make sure Amara knows it. "Your sister is doing so well," her mother often says over the phone. "You should be more like her." Amara usually just smiles and says, "Yes, Mama." But when the call ends, her smile fades. She scrolls through Chica's photos, feeling a mix of sadness and anger. She doesn't hate her sister. She just wishes, for once, her parents could see her too. Sometimes her parents call her, not to ask how she's doing, but when they need help. "Amara, can you fix this document?" her father might say. Or, "Amara, you're good with numbers. Can you check something for me?" She always says yes, hoping that maybe this time they'll say thank you. But they rarely do. They hang up quickly, moving on with their lives as if she were just a helper, not a daughter. Through flashbacks, we see little pieces of her life. A younger Amara trying to show her school report card, her mother brushing her off to praise Chica's dance performance instead. A teenage Amara saving up her lunch money to buy her parents a gift, only for them to say, "You shouldn't have wasted your money." Each memory builds a picture of quiet heartbreak, of someone who kept giving and never received love in return. In her small apartment, Amara sits by the window at night, staring at the city lights. Her voice is calm but heavy with emotion. "I tried to be enough," she says softly to herself. "But in this family, enough doesn't exist for me." She dreams of starting a new life, maybe moving to another city, getting a better job, finding peace. But she doesn't know where to begin. The weight of years of rejection keeps her stuck. She has learned to survive, not to dream. Still, there's a spark inside her, a quiet hope that refuses to die. When she looks at her reflection in the mirror, she doesn't see failure. She sees a woman who has endured everything and is still standing. She doesn't know it yet, but change is coming. And when it does, it will begin with her. Amara closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and whispers, "One day they'll see me. One day I'll see myself." The words hang in the air, soft but powerful. They are not a wish anymore. They are a promise. One night, Amara receives a call. It's her mother, her voice shaky and full of fear. "Amara, something terrible has happened," she says. Amara sits up quickly, her heart racing. Her mother explains that her father's company is in serious legal trouble. There are accusations of unpaid taxes and fraud. The authorities are investigating, and everything they have worked for might be lost. Amara is silent for a moment, trying to take it all in. "What do you mean fraud?" she asks. But her mother only says, "Please just come home. Your father needs you." The next morning, social media is buzzing with the news. The Okafor family's name is everywhere. Reporters talking about the scandal, people gossiping online. Chica's perfect world starts to crumble. Her wealthy fiancé calls off the engagement, saying he doesn't want to be involved in a family with dirty business. Chica screams and cries, blaming everyone but herself. Mrs. Okafor spends the day on the phone, trying to save face, while Mr. Okafor locks himself in his study. The family that once looked so perfect is now falling apart. That evening, Amara arrives at her parents' house. The air feels heavy, full of shame and fear. Her mother greets her with forced calmness. "Thank God you came," she says. "We didn't know who else to call." Amara looks at her father, sitting quietly on the sofa, staring at the floor. "You work in finance," her mother continues, her tone soft but desperate. "You understand these things. Maybe you can help us talk to someone who can fix this." For a moment, Amara feels anger rising in her chest. All these years she was never good enough. They ignored her, belittled her, and made her feel small. And now that everything is falling apart, they suddenly remember she exists. She takes a deep breath. "I know someone," she says slowly. "A lawyer, Tund. He's good." Her mother nods quickly. "Then call him. Please, do whatever you can." Amara doesn't say that she already knows they don't see her as capable, just useful. Still, she picks up her phone and calls Tund. He answers immediately, surprised to hear from her so late. After she explains, he agrees to help. Over the next few days, Amara and Tund work day and night, going through files, meeting accountants, and preparing documents. The case is worse than she imagined. Her father's company had been cutting corners for years, hiding income, avoiding taxes, and making shady deals. Now everything is out in the open. At home, Chica avoids her, her pride shattered. Once she accuses Amara of enjoying their downfall. "You must be happy now that we need you," she spits bitterly. Amara just looks at her, tired. "I'm not happy," she says quietly. "But someone has to clean up this mess." Her parents continue to act as if nothing emotional has happened, as if she's just doing her duty as a daughter. They thank her politely, but Amara feels it. They still don't see her. Even now, when she's the one holding the family together, she's invisible. Late one night, after another long day, Amara sits in her car outside her parents' house. Tund calls to update her on the next steps. Before hanging up, he says softly, "You're doing more for them than they ever did for you." Amara smiles sadly. "I know," she replies. She looks at the dark windows of her family home. Inside, her parents are sleeping peacefully, trusting her to fix everything. For years she begged for their approval, but now she realizes she doesn't need it. Still deep down, a quiet ache remains. No matter how hard she works, They'll never truly see her worth. Yet something in her heart shifts. She's no longer the girl seeking love. She's the woman holding the power that Eshe, Amara and Tund work tirelessly to manage the crisis. Chika lashes out one morning. Her voice is sharp and full of anger. "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" she shouts. "You love seeing us fall." Amara looks up from the pile of files on the table, tired from another sleepless night. "I'm trying to help," she says softly. Chika scoffs. "Help? You think anyone believes that? You've always been jealous, Amara. Maybe this is your revenge." The words sting, but Amara stays calm. "You can believe whatever you want," she replies quietly. "But if I walk away, your family loses everything." Chika's eyes flash with pride, but she says nothing more. She storms out, slamming the door behind her. When the room falls silent again, Amara takes a deep breath. She glances at Tund, who has been watching quietly. He gives her a small, reassuring look. "Don't take it to heart," he says. "Some people only know how to attack when they're scared." Amara nods, but the hurt doesn't fade easily. Every word from her sister, every cold look from her parents, chips away at her patience. That evening, Mrs. Okafor brings her tea. For a moment, Amara thinks her mother has come to thank her. But instead, her mother sits down and says softly, "Amara, I know things have been said, but a good daughter doesn't hold grudges. Family is family." Amara looks at her mother in disbelief. "Grudges," she repeats. "Mama, I'm the one trying to save this family." Mrs. Okafor sighs. "Yes, but your tone, your attitude. It feels like you enjoy being in charge now. Be humble, my daughter. Don't forget your place." Her words cut deeper than any insult. Even now, after everything, her mother still sees her as lesser, as someone who should be grateful to even have a place in the family. Later that night, Amara sits alone in her father's office, surrounded by papers. She feels the weight of everything pressing on her chest. Years of rejection, endless comparisons, and the unfairness of being blamed even when she's trying to help. Tund walks in quietly and sets down 2 cups of coffee. "You need a break," he says. Amara gives a tired smile. "I can't stop now. If I don't fix this, everything falls apart." He leans against the desk, watching her. "You know," he says softly, "sometimes helping people who broke you is the last test before your freedom." She looks up at him, unsure what to say. "Freedom?" "Yes," he nods. "You can't move on if you're still carrying the pain they gave you. Finish what you started. Help them if you must. But after this, let go." His words linger in her mind long after he leaves. Maybe he's right. Maybe this is the last thing she needs to do before she can finally walk away. Days turn into weeks. Amara and Tund work late into the night, checking files, organizing evidence, and negotiating with officials. Slowly, the situation starts to improve. The company might survive, but barely. Still, something doesn't sit right with Amara. As she goes through more documents, she starts noticing odd details: missing signatures, changed dates, secret transfers. At first, she thinks it's just a mistake, but the deeper she looks, the more she realizes something is hidden. One evening, she finds an old file tucked inside a folder marked confidential. Her heart starts to race as she opens it. Inside are papers with her name on them, documents she doesn't remember signing. Her signature looks strange, like someone tried to copy it. She frowns and flips through the pages. The papers seem to show ownership and shares in her father's company, but all of them have been transferred years ago, to Chika. Amara's chest tightens. Her hands tremble slightly as she sets the papers down. Why would her name be there? Why would someone need to forge her signature? She leans back in the chair, staring at the documents spread before her. The truth feels close, but she can't see it yet. Her phone buzzes. It's Tund, asking if she's still at the office. She hesitates, then replies yes. "I just found something strange." As she looks at the papers again, she feels a cold wave of realization start to rise inside her. This isn't just about her father's company being in trouble. This is about something deeper, something that might explain everything. For the first time, Amara isn't just hurt. She's curious. And beneath that curiosity, a quiet anger begins to grow, steady, controlled, and dangerous. She whispers to herself, "What else have they been hiding from me?" The question hangs in the still air of the office, marking the beginning of a truth that will change everything. While reviewing documents late one night, Amara discovers a hidden clause buried deep in her father's old company files. At first, she thinks it's just another business form. But as she reads carefully, her hands begin to shake. The clause shows that her parents had transferred her entire inheritance share, everything that was supposed to belong to her, to Chica, years ago. They never told her. Her heart starts pounding. She turns the pages again, checking the dates. The documents were signed when she was still in school. Her name and signature are there, but she knows she never signed them. The handwriting looks like hers, but something feels wrong. It's a copy of forgery. A cold wave of shock runs through her. Her parents didn't just forget about her. They erased her completely. Legally, financially, and emotionally. She was written out of the family. Amara sits still for a long moment, staring at the papers spread out on the desk. All the pain she has carried for years, every insult, every moment of being second best, suddenly makes sense. This wasn't just neglect. It was betrayal. She takes a deep breath, trying to calm herself, but tears fill her eyes. Why? She whispers to the empty room. Why would you do this to me? The next morning, she decides to confront them. Her parents are in the living room, arguing about the company again. Chica scrolls through her phone, pretending not to care. Amara walks in, holding the documents in her hand. Her face is pale, but her eyes are steady. I found something, she says quietly. Her father looks up. What is it now? She places the papers on the table. These, she says, her voice shaking slightly. You transferred my inheritance to Chica. You forged my signature. Why? For a moment, there is silence. Then her mother starts to speak, her tone defensive. Amara, you don't understand. But Amara cuts her off. No. Mama. I understand perfectly. You decided I wasn't worth it. Her father slams his hand on the table. Watch your tone, he shouts. We did what was best for the family. Amara flinches but doesn't back down. She looks him straight in the eye. No, she says softly, trembling but firm. You did what was best for your pride. The room goes silent. Chica looks away, guilt flashing across her face. Mrs. Okafor tries to speak again, but Amara holds up her hand. Don't. You all made your choice. You wanted me small, quiet, invisible. But I'm done being that person. Her father stands, his face red with anger. You're being ungrateful. After everything we did for you. Everything you did to me, Amara corrects. Her voice is calm now, almost cold. You lied, you took what was mine and you expected me to thank you for it. Her mother's eyes fill with tears. Amara, please, don't destroy this family. Amara lets out a small, sad laugh. This family destroyed itself a long time ago. She turns and walks toward the door. Her hands are still shaking, but she feels strangely light, as if a heavy weight has been lifted from her chest. For the first time, she's not crying, she's thinking clearly. Outside, she pulls out her phone and calls Tund. When he answers, her voice is steady. I found something, she says. They forged my signature. They took my inheritance. There's a short silence on the line before Tund replies. Are you sure? Yes, she says. I have proof. I want to reclaim what's mine. Then we start now, he says firmly. As she ends the call, Amara looks up at the sky. The sun is setting, painting the world in orange and gold. She feels both pain and peace. She knows this won't be easy. Taking legal action against her own family will bring more conflict. But she also knows it's necessary. For years she begged to be seen. Now, she doesn't need their approval anymore. What she needs is justice. She looks back at the house one last time. Inside are the people who broke her heart, who made her feel less than she was. But that chapter of her life is closing. She whispers to herself, it's time. Then she walks away, her steps slow but sure, her heart no longer heavy, only determined. It's not revenge she wants. It's her freedom. And she's finally ready to take it. Months later, the company is finally saved, but it's no longer in her father's hands. It now belongs to new ownership. What no one knows, not even her parents, is that the new owner is Amara herself. After discovering the truth about her inheritance, Amara worked closely with Tund's firm. Using her financial skills and quiet determination, she carefully bought the company's controlling shares through a private investment group. Every move was planned, calm, legal, and precise. It took months of hard work and sleepless nights, But she did it. She now owns what her parents once stole from her. One bright morning, Amara calls her parents for a meeting at the company office. Her voice on the phone is polite but distant. "Please come to the office tomorrow," she says. "There's something important you both need to know." Her father sounds tired but curious. "Is it about the new management?" "You'll see," Amara replies quietly. The next day, the Okafors arrive at the office together. The building feels the same, but there's something different in the air. A quiet power that even they can sense. They walk into the conference room, where Amara is seated at the head of the table. Papers are neatly arranged before her. Tund is beside her, calm and professional. Mrs. Okafor looks around, confused. "Where's the new owner? We thought we'd be meeting them." Amara gives a small smile. "You are," she says softly. Her father frowns. "What do you mean?" Without another word, Amara picks up a pen and signs the final document in front of them. The papers confirm full transfer of ownership. The company is officially hers. Mr. Okafor stares at her, his voice trembling slightly. "Whose papers are those?" Amara looks up, her eyes clear and calm. "Mine," she says. "The papers you never expected me to sign." The room falls silent. Her mother's mouth opens slightly, but no words come out. Her father's face turns pale. For the first time in her life, Amara sees something in his eyes she has never seen before: respect. "I didn't do this to hurt you," she continues. "I did this to make things right. You took away my inheritance, my name in this company, even my dignity. But I learned something from all that pain. I learned that I don't need your approval to build my life." Her voice doesn't rise. It stays calm, strong, and steady. Every word she says is measured, not angry. "This isn't revenge," she adds quietly. "It's justice." Her father looks away, shame clouding his face. Her mother tries to speak again, her voice soft and shaky. "Amara, please, we were only trying to protect the family." Amara smiles sadly. "You protected your pride, Mama, not the family." She stands up, closes the folder, and hands it to Tund. "Everything is done now," she says. Then, turning back to her parents, she adds gently, "You taught me to survive without love. Now I've learned to live without your permission." Mrs. Okafor begins to cry quietly. Mr. Okafor remains frozen in his seat, staring at the table, the weight of his choices finally settling in. Amara walks toward the door. Before leaving, she turns back once more. "I hope one day you understand that I didn't win. I simply stopped losing." With that, she walks out of the room. Her steps are calm, her head held high. Tears fill her eyes, but they're not tears of pain anymore. They're tears of peace, release, and strength. Outside, Tund catches up with her. "You okay?" he asks softly. Amara smiles faintly. "Yes," she says. "For the first time I am." As they step out of the building, the sun shines brightly. Amara breathes deeply, feeling lighter than she ever has. The company behind her is now hers, but more importantly, her life is hers too. She doesn't look back. She doesn't need to. Her past has finally ended, and her new beginning has already begun. Amara sits in a small cafe with Tund, a warm cup of coffee in her hands. The city outside is busy, but inside, everything feels calm. For the first time in her life, her heart is quiet. She finally feels free, not because she got revenge, but because she no longer needs her family's approval to feel worthy. Tund looks at her with a gentle smile. "You did it," he says softly. Amara nods. "Yes," she replies, "but not just saving the company. I saved myself." She opens her notebook and begins to write. It's a letter to her younger self, the little girl who used to cry in silence, the one who always felt invisible. Her handwriting is steady as she writes. "You were never less. You were just unseen by people too blind to notice your light. You tried so hard to earn love that should have been freely given. But look at you now, standing strong, whole, and unafraid. You don't need to prove your worth. You always had it." She closes the notebook gently and smiles faintly, her eyes soft with peace. On the table beside her are new business documents, proof of a new beginning. Amara picks up her pen and signs them with confidence. No shaking hands. No hesitation. Just quiet strength. Tund watches her and says, "You've changed." Amara laughs lightly. "Maybe I just became who I was meant to be all along." Outside, sunlight filters through the window, casting a glow on her face. She looks out, watching people walk by, feeling connected to the world again. Not as someone broken, but as someone rebuilt. As the screen fades out, her voice echoes softly in the background. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about reclaiming your power. And with that, Amara smiles, calm, strong, and finally free. Hey friends! Thanks for watching all the way through. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. See you next time.